Hi, welcome to Electric Trekker Creations. Today I'm going to be making some coasters using mica powder, alcohol ink and UV DTF stickers. I've made up 6 ounces of resin, which is about 180ml. I've put it through the debubbler, but there's still some bubbles left, so I'm just spraying it with 99% alcohol to get rid of the ones on the top. I'm going to split the resin between 3 cups. It's going to be the sky blue, the blue, which I don't know the name of, and some gold alcoholic ink. I'm not going to make up much gold because I don't want it to take over. Just going to mix up the dark blue here. Only a small amount of mica is needed. When you stir, make sure you stir it in really well. You can check that you've stirred it in by, once you've stirred it, leaving it on the side for a second, and any unmixed mica will actually raise to the top. Making up the sky blue now. Again, quickly stirring it in, but trying to make sure I don't actually add any additional bubbles. Quite lucky with mica powder because so long as I don't get any around the edges, if there are any within the resin itself, it will be hidden because of the mica powder. And finally the gold. Give it a shake. Make sure all the sediment on the bottom is well mixed in. I actually put a ball bearing it in mine to make sure it mixed up easier. Before you pour, just check your moulds to make sure you haven't dropped any mica in, which I had done. Oops. I had intended to do a crackle effect with these, or attempt my first try at crackle effect. So what I did was I squeezed the cup together to make it easier to pour, and then put the dark blue around the edges of each of the moulds. I'm trying to put the colour in equally amongst the coasters. Then I put in the sky blue, again rolling it round the middle of the coasters inside the dark blue. And then I put in the beautiful gold, and I do a line between the 2 blues, and then I put the rest in the middle of each coaster. And I'm hoping that will give an interesting pattern in the crackle effect. And finally I do the push in the middle of the clear resin into each coaster. Now, I deliberately didn't fill these coasters up because I want these to cure and then put the UV DTF sticker on, and then put another layer on top. These coasters are actually going to be a Christmas present for my daughter. Sorry, you're going to see them in advance, honey, because these are her favourite colours, and as I said, I'm hoping they come out really well. Once I've finished pouring this, I'm going to put them in the G3 for 2 hours to cure, to make it quicker and easier for them to cure, and I'm just spraying the tops with isopropyl alcohol 99% to help try and remove any bubble. I then decided that I had so much fun doing that, I would make the coasters for my sister. I'm using brown, gold and white here, again with UV DTF stickers. This time I'm trying to do a marble effect. So as you can see, I'm taking the white and randomly swirling it in the bottom. Generally, the first colour that hits the silicone is the colour that stays there, but mica will do what mica wants, and so will resin. So I've just poured some gold in, and now I'm about to pour some brown in. And doing that normal speed for the first one, and then I'm gonna speed you up for the next 3. As with the last set, I'm not trying to fill these up fully. I'm only about halfway because I want to be able to put the UV DTFs on and then put a nice top coat on them. And then here I'm just moving the molds so that the resin can get all the way round, and I also think it actually makes quite a nice pattern in the coasters. Not quite what I was intending, but I think it looks quite cool. I'm not able to put this set straight away in the G3 because the blue set are in there curing, but once the blue set come out, I'll put these in to cure. Back to the blue set to add the UV DTFs, you peel the back off, and can be a little bit of a struggle, as you can see. Once the back's off, I tried doing the taco method and then gave up. You do need to be careful because once the UV DTF touches, that is where it's going. So then I basically tried to flatten it down so there were no bubbles. Give it quite a bit of a push down, as you can see, because it's all individual letters, this one. And then pull the top coating back carefully, trying to make sure that I don't actually break the seal. This took quite a while, because as you can see, it's quite tough, but I manage it. You can probably already tell that the crackle effect did not work on these coasters. I worked it out is because I didn't put enough resin in, and apparently you're supposed to put clear around the outside first as well, which I did not do. I'm speeding you up doing the other 4 coasters, and while I'm doing that, I just thought I'd say welcome to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope everyone is enjoying the video. If you are, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, leave a comment. All of these things are completely free and they'll help my channel grow. If you're struggling to get the backing off the UV DTF, like I was here, you can use the sellotape on both sides to pull it apart a lot easier. I just got into a I will do this mode and refused to give up. I actually really like this. You got this. You are enough. Do what makes you happy. And don't believe everything you think. I love the way the blues and the golds have merged together. It wasn't my original intention, but I actually think they came out beautifully. Now I'm just spraying them with alcohol again because I've mixed up more resin and I want to help remove any bubbles. This is just a thin layer. There is a lot of bubbles, but with it being a thin layer, the alcohol I put down first, and then once I filled them up, the alcohol I spray again on top should remove all of the bubbles. This set has cured now, so I'm going to add on these UV DTF stickers. This set of coasters is for my sister, and I think they're very appropriate. With these ones though, I'm cutting around really close to the wording and the picture, because it's not individual letters like the other one. I'm also leaving a tag at the top there that should help me pull the front off. The reason for this is I thought if I leave a big amount, it was quite hard to get them off on the blue set, and I want to try and make my life easier by having less of the top to pull off. You don't need to see me do this for the other three, so I'll jump back in once I'm ready to place them. This is just me checking that I've left enough on that tab there, and I think that it will work to actually help me pull it off easier. Here I am pulling off this backing. Again, use the sellotape method, learn from my mistakes. And as you can see, part of the lettering actually got stuck, it was left on the backing, so I just closed it back up, pressed it a bit, and then it came away with the top. So all good there. Laying the image down, trying to get it center, and lo and behold, I stuck it before I was ready. So pushing it out, trying to make sure I'm not laying any bubbles. Not laying any bubbles, not making any bubbles or leaving any bubbles underneath. Pressing down around the edges. One more push just to make sure. I'm scared to pull the thing off. Okay, here I go. I pull and pull again. It doesn't quite work the way I want it to as it rips. However, I am able to still use what I did to pull it round, and the fact that I left just a little bit of topping around the edge of the picture has made it easier than the first set that I did. So, lesson learned, try not to leave too much of the top on if you can help it. And just making sure the letter that got stuck and separated before is actually down, and there we go. Aging may have slowed me down, but it hasn't shut me up. True. Okay, so because the duck stuck, I'd heard somewhere that if you sprayed the thing with isopropyl alcohol first, you'd be able to maybe move the UV DTF sticker around when you put it down, so you wouldn't get it in the wrong place. So I spray this with isopropyl alcohol, lay the sticker down, push out any bubbles, and I found the isopropyl alcohol actually helped with making sure there were no bubbles. Squish it around, just trying to make sure. And then look at this. I pull back and it just comes off. That was not sped up. That was normal time. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen UV DTFs come off that easily. And just to prove to myself that I wasn't going mad and it wasn't a one-off, I did the goat the same way. Spray with isopropyl alcohol. It's 99.9% by the way. You know, squidge it down, try and get rid of any bubbles. Again, the isopropyl alcohol actually made it really easy to remove any bubbles. Just making sure there that all the letters and punctuation are there, and again, just peels straight back. Never seen anything like it. I'm so happy at this point. I don't know if this is something new I found or if this is something everyone knew and I've just learnt. And then again, the dog goes on. And I'm showing this in normal time because I just want to show I did these all the same way, or these three the same way, the two dogs and the goat. The duck I did without any isopropyl alcohol being sprayed. And again, just peels straight back like that. I mean, the top of the dog there didn't quite stick, so I go back and, you know, go over it, press it down to make sure it sticks. I've mixed up some more resin, put it through the debubbler, which doesn't look like it from the top, but spraying the alcohol on the top actually gets rid of a lot of those bubbles. Now, I want to add in a little bit of sparkle to the top coat for these ones. So what I'm doing for each coaster is I'm pouring some of the resin into a separate little cup, then I'm going to add a tiny little bit of gold glitter. Obviously a really good method of making sure you only get the amount you want, not do it properly, measure it with a spoon. Stirring gently, trying to add no more bubbles to the copious amounts that are already there. Spray the mould and then adding a thin layer of the resin on the top, again spraying alcohol on that and hoping, dropping very slowly from a great height, that all the bubbles come out. This does work, it just means you've got to be a bit careful. I did that one in real time so that you could see how long I took to actually pour the resin out, but most of the bubbles are gone at that point with me doing it like that. And then again spray on the top just in case there's any left, and then it's come up. So I'm now going to speed you through the next 4. And I'll be back when that's done. Time to demold these blue ones. There is some overpour on these and the backs are really not that pretty, but I think the top is amazing. So that's actually quite cool. Don't believe everything you think. Very, very pretty. And here I'm just explaining how, you know, the micas and the alcohol ink merged but didn't do the crackle, and the fact that I believe that it didn't work because I didn't, well, basically I did the method incorrectly. The issue was in the chair, not the actual tools. And again here I'm showing how clear it is considering how bubbly it was, and you could see the depth of the layer that I put in, and that there's some tiny little bubbles around the edges where there's been the overflow. Most of those will come off with the, well, I say most, there were 2. They will come off when I clear up the overpour, so I'm quite happy. Do what makes you happy. It's very pretty and shiny. And then again, same with this coaster, there is a bit of overpour around the edge there, but no bubbles. And then here I'm pointing out that I think that maybe my board isn't level because it's all the top left corner that has the overpour. I maybe need to check out the levelness of the levelness. I think I just did an unword. The levelness of my board. An important saying, you are enough. I got absolutely no crackle effect whatsoever. For the blue ones, I'm just going to add some gold pen around the outside as a finishing touch. As you can see, it goes on quite easily. It is probably going to need 2 coats, but I think it just gives it a nice, as I said, finishing touch. I'm going to speed you through finishing this one. I'm not going to show you the others. Now that that's done, I'm going to put some clear feet on the bottom. Normally I'd put felt, but as you can see it's quite transparent and the cork or the felt would show through, and I don't want that. So on these go, and I'm putting 4 on each one, and you can put 3 on, and apparently that's supposed to be steadier, but I didn't think about that, and yeah, so I put 4 on each of those. Time to demold the golden brown ones. Do you see the issue yet? I didn't notice it straight away, but look, can you see the right corner of that one has turned up, and I'm not sure why. I think maybe it was because I didn't push it down enough. That's the only thing I can think of, because if you look at the dog, there was no issue. It didn't curl up at all. Looks beautiful. I'm very happy with it. And the duck, again, absolutely nothing wrong with it. The backs on these are quite cool, but as I said, you can see where I laid the colours down first. So where you're doing that, it is best to have that as the downside. And again, the goat, completely normal, no curling. I don't know why the dog did that, but I think maybe I needed to make sure that I really pressed it down after I'd put the alcohol in, because I did kind of do that a little bit more with the others. And now I'm just going to put the little clear pads on the bottom again as well, 4 on each one. I won't make you actually sit through that. Okay, so I've done all of them bar the dog one. As I said, I can only think it's because I didn't press it down fully enough. It's such a shame, because that was one of my favourite ones. Oh well. The other 3 worked absolutely fine. 2 of the others being ones I also sprayed with alcohol. So I will try it again with other UV DTFs just to make sure that it works if I'm careful with pushing the actual sticker down. But yeah, I'm very pleased with the other 3. Aging may have slowed me down, but it hasn't shut me up. Love that. It's not my fault you thought I was normal. You've had enough time and plenty of clues to figure that out. And the last one, coffee, and now I have to poop. On that note, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you aren't already. I do videos every Monday, 5 PM Central Eastern Time, as well as collaborations throughout the week. Here I'm just using my deburring tool to get off any very slight overpours on these ones. You need to feel around the edges to make sure there's no sharp edges, because you can't give them away or sell them if there's sharp edges. Please hang around for the glamour shots, which are coming up now.